ourselves a extra special, put some fucking sauce on it type of episodes today, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Mr. George Carmona, and joined with me today making his second appearance on the show, the man, the myth, the legend, Brandon from motherfucking Vegas. Hey, your celebrity status this morning, my man. You went from your podcast straight into this podcast. How does it feel to be just podcast hopping? Is this what you thought your life would pan out?
I'm like a less black, more attractive Logan Paul.
I like that. Did you ever think you're going to go into celebrity boxing type situation? Like influencer boxing?
That would be the most lit idea of all time.
Influencer boxing. Because there's another dude, I don't know if you know Vegas Matt, the casino, or the gambler. Vegas Matt, he plays slots.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so you're Brandon from Vegas, he's Vegas Matt. I say we do a little fucking 3 1-minute rounds of boxing.
Bro, I couldn't make 1 3-minute round of boxing, bro. I couldn't make 30. I would have to fight him for 10 seconds and hope I won, because that's it for me, bro. My stamina ain't where it used to be.
We'll promote it. I think this is like the first sticky pause.
If I could make it 3 minutes, my fiance would be a lot happier.
She would be surprised. She'd be like, I didn't know you had this in the tank, big dog.
That's 3 times longer than he usually goes.
What is happening
I'm
here?
impressed.
Brandon, more than glad to have you on today's show. We had discussed ranking the top 5 quarterbacks in certain divisions, but instead you hit me with an idea and I was like, oh, we're running with it.
Yeah.
So this is part 1 of 2. Part 2 will come in the future of dissecting the NFL win totals for this upcoming season.
Oh my God.
And this episode, we start with the AFC. Before we start diving into the AFC, this is the first part of this episode. The second part of this episode, I'm going to be having pro football player, legend, Sean Merriman, the first pro football player I've ever had on Gridiron Junkies in the second half of this podcast. So make sure you stick through the AFC win totals all the way to the end.
He's going to make you look so small.
Yeah. Yeah, no, his head's his cranium. Huge cranium.
Because you be knocking motherfuckers out.
You need to. Lights out. Yeah, bro. But we start.
Let's go.
At the bottom of the list, okay? Because I want to save the teams that are expected to do really well for the end. I feel like we can dive into that pretty hard. But we start with the lowest win total in the AFC, the Indianapolis Colts.
Woof.
They are projected to win 5 games this season.
Yep.
So, my question to you is, 1, do you know, and I know we just talked about this, do you know what Matt Ryan is currently doing right now? Because we had to Google it, and I have...
Crocheting?
Not crocheting. What does every NFL quarterback do after they play in the league?
Oh, God. Open a car dealership?
Nope. Even better. Think about it. Tony Romo kind of led the...
He golfs now. Announcing?
Yes.
Oh,
It says that Matt Ryan is headed to the media world as CBS Sports' newest NFL analyst.
Oh, my God. We get another bland white guy announcer.
But listen to this fucking sneaky motherfucker. He said he's not retiring. He has not retired. But I'm going to go announce. He's going to do the Greg Olsen thing, right? Or like
he's going to play quarterback as a side hustle?
I that's the way it works now, I guess. Not for Matt Ryan, though. I think he knows his time's over. He fucked the Colts last season.
Yeah.
And now they have Anthony Richardson as their new quarterback. They took him early in the draft, right?
Yeah.
Like, you remember, he was not projected to go too high, and then pro days happen, the combine happens, he breaks all these records.
Bro, when you see a 6'4" black quarterback broad jumping 39 yards, it's like
I think we can work with this.
Anthony Richardson ended racism.
For the Colts organization.
Yeah, a bunch of rich white owners were like, "Oh my God, did you see that man jump? Oh, I think I like black people." The way they were talking about him, bro, it was crazy.
So I think without them getting Anthony Richardson, I would like to think that this win total would have been like 3.5, 4.
Yeah.
But they're just like, okay, he'll probably get good towards the end of the year. I look at this 5.5 wins, and for a betting man, I'm always like, man, they can fucking get some one possession game wins, like close ones at the end. You can sneak some of those out, and all you need is 6, and you hit the over. But Brandon, what do you got?
They're at 6.5.
6.5.
Their projected win total is showing 6.5.
So, you're right. That little thing I was looking at. You want to share my screen? We're looking at the same website here. I was confused by this.
Oh, you were looking at their. I think that's what the site thinks they're gonna win.
Yeah, which is bullshit. How can you win 0.6 of a game?
Dumbass.
What the fuck? Give me a number.
It
is over under 6.5.
If it was a flat 6, just off sheer luck, one win, randomness, they're in the AFC South.
You can push.
You can fluke at 6.5. That means they got to win 7 games. They got to go 7-10.
Ain't no shot, Jack.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, their defense isn't what it used to be, too. I know that, they're in this changing wave of not only ownership, but their coach, and I don't know. I'm going to pick the under there for the Colts.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement there.
We now move on to the next team. If you want to, the screen is shared right now. NFL.com thinks that the Texans will win 5.9 games. Their over-under win total is 5.5.
Yeah.
Now, they got DeMeco Ryans.
Yep.
They got, I guess what they would consider like the win of the draft with C.J. Stroud.
Sure.
And
followed it up with Will Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're stacked with young talent there.
Yeah.
I just... In that division, right? They're going to be so competitively bad.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, I really see a lot of low-scoring games here. I was a fan, though, of the way the Texans played at the end of last season.
Me too.
But they played so well that they fired their coach.
Isn't that the best? The Lovie Smith story has to be like the most... No one talked about it, but the dude was the former coach of the Bears. And by winning... that last game for the Texans, he gave the Bears the number 1 pick.
So, Lovie Smith still loves the Bears.
He still loves the Bears, clearly.
I find it so bullshit. Obviously, these coaches are coaching to win, and the players are like, man, it sucks losing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there was a point in time in that Texan season last year, and it could happen again this year, just with all the new young talent, and they may not be able to figure it out in time, where it's like, oh, if we lose a couple here at the end, is it the worst thing in the world?
Shit, yeah. Now you got some rookie coming to take their job.
So over under 5.5 wins there, Brandon. What are you thinking?
This is gonna shock you. My first shocker. This is not a hot take. I genuinely believe I take the over. 5 wins, going 5-12 back. It's hard, right? Like you said, these players don't want to lose.
Correct.
I think they have a better coach. No offense to Lovie Smith, but he was, the guy was coaching Illinois. Yeah, he's aged. DeMeco Ryans has proven to be a great defensive coordinator. Marcus Stroud is leagues above whoever the Texans have been starting at quarterback.
Yeah, Davis Mills with a long neck.
Yeah.
He's the used car salesman now.
That's funny.
Davis Mills, yeah.
If the Texans were in any other division, like if they were in like the AFC West or something, I'd be like, 3 wins at tops.
Yeah.
But in the AFC South, they're going to fluke their way. They're going to fluke their way to some wins here, right?
Yeah, there's one thing that I find interesting right here that says for the Texans that they're 6-1 odds to make the playoffs, which I'm like, I'm a fan. I don't think they could win the division. I think the Titans.
We got some arguments coming. I'm excited for this.
There's definitely some really solid teams in that division, but I'm going to take the under for the sole fact that it's a defensive-minded coach and a rookie quarterback.
Okay.
And I just don't think that molds as well as people would like to think it does.
Okay.
And I know, everybody stays in their lane, right? But when you're a defensive-minded head coach, there's lots of things that you do that are not in benefit of a young quarterback learning. And you're more focused on, as long as they don't got points on the board, we're cool.
Sure.
And there's this fostering of a young quarterback sucking that, what I always say is if a defense is running your locker room, it's an unhappy locker room. You may be winning, but everybody's a little fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
That's a good way to put it.
D'Amico Ryans.
Good way to put it.
If things are going bad, I don't see it's like we're fostering. It's okay, buddy. No. It's going to be like a motherfucker. We let up only 12 points. How can we not score 2 touchdowns?
100%. The way I see it is the Texans won 3 to 4 games. And Marcus Stroud was supposed to be. Now, I'm not a college expert.
CJ.
Why do I keep calling him
Marcus? Because it's
He's the
cooler.
old D tackle for the Jaguars. That's what it is.
Yes.
Marcus Stroud, the D tackle. No, CJ Stroud was the most college or NFL ready of the quarterback.
100,000%.
Right? So if he's let's just call him average. If Davis Mills was below average, let's just say you give the Texans an average quarterback. Can they steal 6 games?
I think they can. I really do think they can. But I'm going to still say no.
Okay.
I just think it's a building process.
Our first disagreement. I like that.
It's a building process for the Texans. We now move on to our Las Vegas hopefuls. Okay. The Raiders.
Under.
Raiders. 7.5 wins. And it's like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Come on,
right?
Man.
Jimmy Garoppolo, Devontae Adams. One of the coldest combos all time in NFL history. No.
But Devontae's already looking at ways he can get traded.
Bro, yeah, Devontae Adams is going to be doing a lot of blocking this year.
My God.
We're getting Josh Jacobs the ball 30 times a game.
My God. Have they done anything right over the past 2 off seasons?
They keep building a fucking stud defense.
Yeah.
That's what the Raiders do, right? I mean, when they drafted another DN this year, first round, and it definitely makes me contemplate that they could be one of the best defenses in the league if everybody's healthy. They got at linebacker Perriman.
Brashad's the right receiver.
No. I'm missing their middle linebacker last year got hurt early in the year, and then he came back at the end. I'll give it a goog, but that defense, when you're building the line first and it's looking pretty solid, you're going to have Max Crosby coming off the end. You got this new kid coming off the end. There is endless possibilities for the Raiders on the defensive side. But on the offensive side, I don't see them scoring more points than they were scoring last year.
No.
And in the league where offenses are fucking being rewarded. Look at the Jets and the Broncos last year. Phenomenal defenses.
Sure.
They fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Right? So your defense, 49ers, best defense in the league. No offense. They lost in the most important game of the season. So when I look at the Raiders, I'm like, is Jimmy Garoppolo the answer?
He can't be better. He's not better than Derek Carr.
That's what I'm fucking like.
He's not better than Derek Carr.
They started Jarrett Stidham the last 3 weeks of the season. And part of me is Mike McDaniels, the coach, he doesn't have a fucking personality. He tries to be Belichick because he saw that for so many years. Josh McDaniels. He saw that personality for so many years with Belichick. I think he's trying to be that, but you're not that, bro.
All those Belichick coaches do the same thing, right?
Yes, where it's very structured. Everything's got to be by the book. Everybody's working and performing at their job and only their job, and that way the fucking locomotive starts moving. But you're in Las Vegas, you have superstar athletes.
Yep.
Devontae Adams arguably is one of, if he was to continue to play with the Raiders, the most legendary Raiders wide receivers of all time.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty select company. But now I look at 7.5 wins in that very tough AFC West division.
Can't do it.
I'm taking under 7.5 wins.
How? The Denver Broncos are going to be better. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. The Chargers are the Chargers. Where are they going to find 7 wins? Where? Not
fucking in the schedule I'm looking at.
No, that's the easiest. That's something I'm going to go lay my own. I'm going to go lay like a $500 on the Raiders under. To me, that's the easiest win on the board.
And it's like, that's a fun bet. People don't understand how fun betting unders is because, hey, things can start off spicy and you're sweating it out there for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But the Raiders are the Raiders.
No one understands how fun it is betting the Raiders to lose. Every game, you're already cheering for Raiders to lose, and now you got money on it.
Yes. And they'll make it competitive, too. You're going to be waiting till, the Raiders like losing close.
Yeah, right.
It's not that they just like losing. They like losing at the last fucking second, week in and week out.
Yeah.
This next team shocks me a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about the New England Patriots here.
Oh.
They have the same win total as the Raiders, 7.5. This team, at the end of last year, I think finally started to buy into mac and cheese.
Sure.
Mac Jones, right?
Sure.
So Mac Jones, to me, needs to be light years better than he's been in the last 3 years for this win total to make sense to me. He's one of the few Alabama products at quarterback, that like prototype that isn't Tua or Jalen Hurts, that like is traditional, like a very old school traditional quarterback.
Pocket passer kind of guy.
But what I got like senses of last year is that he just doesn't have it. And I think Belichick, out of any coach, can make it work though.
Yeah.
So that's why I think this win total is so high. And yeah, the Patriots last year, do you remember the game they played against the Raiders? When they had, there was the last play of the game. The receiver threw it back. Yes. And
I forgot that was against the Raiders.
Mac Jones got
stiff-armed to hell. Who was that? Wow, what was the DN who stiff-armed the shit out of him?
I'm struggling.
I probably watched that 35,000 times on TikTok.
You just couldn't believe it was happening.
It was beautiful.
But like that's the epitome of what the Patriots football team has been since Brady left.
Yeah.
It's like they're always knocking. People are always going to give them a chance because of their coach. But 7.5 seems awful high to me. And especially in the division that they're in, like I see them taking last place in
Ooh.
I mean, you got the Bills, you got the Jets, and you got the Dolphins.
So you got them going 7-10.
I got, that's generous, and I would still win the bet because it's under 7.5.
Okay.
I say they're winning 6 games.
6-11.
And I think this could be the start of Belichick saying,
"That's it.
Fade into the sunset, bro."
Yeah, I'm Bill Belichick, bro. I don't go 6-11.
Yeah, like literally. Same thing's going to happen to Mike Tomlin. Same exact thing's going to happen to Mike Tomlin.
Ooh, spicy. It's getting spicy in
They
here.
fought their asses off, those Steelers, and I know we're going to get to them here in a second. But do you think the Patriots are going over or under 7.5 wins?
This is tough, man. I've never bet against Bill Belichick in my life.
Very hard to do.
It's hard to do, right? Because last year they squeaked out 8 wins. Did they go 8-9? 8-9 wins last year? And I don't think their team's any worse this year. I just think the division has gotten better. The Dolphins are better. The Jets are certainly better, right? So where are the Patriots going to find the wins? There's no free wins in that division.
There isn't, especially when the Jets got better. Like, that's the biggest thing for me is like the Jets improving at the offensive position and already seeing the struggles that the Patriots had against the Jets already. I'm like,
I came in here ready to take the Patriots over. I think you've convinced me. I think I'm taking Patriots under.
But like you said, it's very hard to bet against.
It is.
Because very few teams, I would say, if the Chiefs, God willing, or God forbid they ever lose Mahomes and all the star power they have, we'll feel the same way about Andy Reid. How can we bet against Andy Reid in that regard? But let's take like a look back at it. Look back at it. Shit.
Look back at it.
Fucking, I don't see it. I really don't see it. And it's a shame because I love seeing the Patriots being competitive.
Me too. There's something special. I was watching him and Tom just win games out of their ass all the time,
They did pick up, from what I recall on the draft, they picked up a corner that's pretty nifty. So like they're building the typical
kid from Oregon, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a stud. He's like a hybrid safety corner, just secondary mastermind. So that's good that they're getting some fun pieces, but every team gets one new fun toy a year, you know? And now it's tough for me to analyze this toy before it's ever fucking been out of the box.
Sure.
And so we'll see about midway through the season if that defensive play made sense for them.
Like you said, it's an offensive league, and where are the Patriots going to find points?
Exactly.
Mac Jones throwing to who?
So for me, and this just made like perfect sense to me, and D-Hop hasn't signed anywhere. DeAndre Hopkins.
Shit, that might.
But I just don't think he ever would do it because there's no like.
Why wouldn't he just go to the Chiefs or something like that? Like,
Yeah,
you know.
he's definitely ring chasing, but there's a piece of me that thinks that Belichick on a phone call might be the most convincing out of all 31 other organizations.
Sure. If Belichick called him and was like, hey, we're getting Tom Brady back.
Can you imagine if he was fucking with him? He's just like fucking, Tom's back, Gronk's back. This shit's spicy, bro. Sign with us. He signs a contract. Hey, yeah, I'm in.
Just kidding. Tom decided he wants to be an announcer too.
He's going to, Belichick would program an AI in Tom Brady's voice. So when DeAndre Hopkins calls, it's an AI saying, yeah, bro, I'm coming back. Hey, I got to go run and play with the kids. I'll talk to you later. Just
right.
never got like.
No, Bill Belichick, he's on that chat GPT for sure.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. This next team, huge upgrade this past season in coaches. We're talking about the Denver Broncos. From Nathaniel Hackett to former Saints coach Sean Payton.
Yeah.
This whole team for 2 years in a row has dominated the off-season talk.
Yeah.
Last year it was the fucking let's ride with Russ, right? That
Bronco country.
Let's ride, right? So now, after a year of Russell Wilson playing, I consider Russell Wilson played second half of the season Russell Wilson all last year. And what I mean by that is Russell Wilson is the king of fucking the first 8 weeks.
MVP.
Just everyone's like, I just don't understand. He's projected to throw for 50 touchdown passes, and then the second half of the season hits, and this man disappears
Every year.
I saw that all of last year. There was funny clips coming out regularly talking about how the team fucking kind of didn't like him, and now he gets. Here's the thing: superstar quarterbacks get whatever they want.
Yeah.
These little prima donna fucks. He gets an office. I want an office. Let me get an office. I want that coach, not this coach. Okay, we'll make that happen. It's not the way a winning team operates in my head.
No, Bill Belichick would never allow some shit like that.
Oh my God, no. Oh my God, no. Especially especially because Russell Wilson beat Bill Belichick in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Fuck. I don't know. 8.5 is their total. I want to be like a Sean Payton can change anybody. This is like me.
That's what you're betting on. You're betting on Payton.
Because they've wanted this relationship, Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, for a while now. But then it go back to it's a really fucking tough division, and it's only getting better. And the Chargers were unhealthy last year, and now if the Chargers are healthy all season, I see this definitely playing out as under for the Broncos.
Sure.
But I think that division is going to beat up on each other so hard that they can still sneak in a wild card spot.
If the Broncos start off like 3-5, right?
Yeah.
Because last year, Russell's PR team could say, oh, the coach was shitty. But you can't say Sean Payton's shitty, right? So if the team starts off 3-5, where do you think that heat's going to go?
It's always going to come back to him, and he knows it.
Yeah.
I just think out of all the quarterbacks in the league right now, he is the most full of himself out of all of them.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Or most publicly full of himself.
Correct. And I think it's because of the relationship he's in with Sierra, right?
Yeah.
Is it Ciara?
Sierra.
Sierra, fucking big time celebrity.
Yeah.
I think Russ likes that big time celebrity type of play. It just doesn't fit his personality. I miss Russ before anybody knew about him.
The underdog, the scrappy underdog guy.
Yeah. And he's still a great person, right? He goes to all the the children's hospital and stuff, and like he is like that superhero. But I don't know, bro. It's like the ultimate light skin relationship. Where like you're just like, this is a little too extra for me.
He is a little over the top, man. But ultimately, that's why I'm taking the over on this one. Because his brand, the Russell Wilson brand, is on the line.
It is.
He knows he can't blame the coach. He can't blame the owner. The owner spent money. The owner brought in the high-powered coach everybody wanted. It's all on Russ. They got their defense was excellent last year. It was him that was the problem.
Yeah.
So his ass is on the line, bro. And if there's one thing I can trust Russell to do, it's he can cook when his ass is on the line.
Yeah. I think in typical Russell Wilson fashion, I really expect him to be the first half of the season MVP, right? Like
The total's what, 8.5?
8.5.
All he has to do is start off like 6-2, 5-3, and man.
Yeah. Yeah, no. This is interesting. This next team is very interesting for me. The NFL.com website has the Tennessee Titans projected to win 8 games. Their over-under is 7.5.
7.5. That's a tough number.
This is a tough team.
Yeah.
Like, I love the way the Titans have played over the last really 10 years. Like, I'm thinking way back, pre-Tannehill days. This team was always still really competitive. And then you had a couple of really good seasons, late half of the seasons by Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
People overlook Derrick Henry. I've talked to many people, right? And I say, hey, list me just your top 5 running backs in the league. And people don't say his name.
Do they not play fantasy football?
Okay. So here's the people that they'll hit you with. They'll hit you with Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
They'll hit you with Austin Eckler. They'll hit you with Dalvin Cook.
Okay. I like Dalvin Cook, McCaffrey. I'm with it. I'm with you.
And then they, typically at that point in time, people are starting to throw in maybe an Alvin Kamara, Saquon.
These do-it-all backs. These multi-purpose backs.
Correct.
Yeah, I get it.
Josh Jacobs. But people overlook, this is the motherfucking king.
Yeah.
And I don't overlook him at all,
no.
Brandon. And he is the linchpin of that team. When you have a running back that's going to run through a motherfucker's face.
Over and over and over.
It makes me really think that the Tennessee Titans this year are going to for sure hit over 7.5.
Ooh.
I see them as a 9-win team.
Okay, so your bet's on Tannehill then.
Correct.
Okay. See, for me, I'm just, okay. If anybody else was coaching that team, would you bet them to win that many games? Like talent-wise, right? Like, who's their receivers? Who, right? I just don't. Are you betting the fact because they're in that division with the Colts and the Texans and the Jaguars?
Correct. I'm a fan because they're the toughest team out of all those teams.
They're probably the toughest team in the league, right?
They are fucking hard-nosed, bro.
Yeah.
And this is who, out of all the draft prospects, and they said he's having a little bit of accuracy issues. They got Will Levis from Kentucky.
Yeah.
They drafted him, right? But then the year before, they drafted Malik Willis.
Who was a complete piece of shit this year.
He looked great in preseason. I remember last year preseason thinking like, I remember saying, I was like, don't be surprised Malik Willis starts early on when Tannehill starts fucking up. They definitely, are going to have to rely on their big dog Derrick Henry. Here at the receiver position, fucking 3 names. I'm going to just say these.
Okay.
Tell me if you've heard of them.
Okay.
Treylon Burks.
Only because I play fantasy football have I heard of Treylon Burks.
Nick Westbrook.
Akine?
Look at you. Okay. Kyle Phillips.
I have no fucking clue who Kyle Phillips is.
At tight end, they have Chigozium Okonakwụ. These names are getting ridiculous.
Come on, man. It's like a Key and
not
Peele
ridiculous.
sketch.
Yeah, I mean, but it's It's interesting. Their defense, though, is always going to be fucking rock solid. And that's because the variable system. And I think they play games ugly. And I really do see them winning a lot of ugly games.
They're like the AFC South Steelers, where you may not think their team is good, but they're so tough and so, like they just, they always, like, even if you're a better team than them, if you're not gritty, if you're not willing to like get in the mud with them, they're just going to stomp you at the end of the game.
So 7.5 wins. You got them over or under?
You convinced me again, man. I came in here ready to be down on the Titans, but after you mentioned everything from Mike Vrabel to Derrick Henry to that division, I think I'm going over with you.
Yeah.
8-9 is still
8-9. I'm saying they're going to hit that 9-win mark.
Why can't the Titans win the division for plus 350? Why can't they beat the Jaguars is my question here.
Because people have got like this end of the year Jaguars fucking hard on.
Like,
oh my God, they were so fucking good.
Yeah.
Just realize you guys were getting your fucking ass whooped by the Chargers.
It was 27-0. Yeah.
You were getting fucking throttled. Okay.
Yeah.
On national television, and then the Chargers forget how to play football. Per usual.
That's just a Charger thing more
that's
than
it, though.
Yeah.
That's it.
I might have to look at that plus 250 to make the playoffs.
I mean, I would just pick them to win the division.
To win the division at that point, yeah.
You get them at 3-1 to win the division. I like that a lot. Moving on to the team I got next to me right here. Los Angeles Chargers, the ones that I just absolutely disgraced a little bit. Them to make the playoffs is at minus money. They're at minus 105 to make the playoffs. To win the division, 325. That should be higher if you're playing against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
But their over-under win total for the year is 9.5.
If Sean Payton was coaching this team, wouldn't this be the easiest over of all? Wouldn't you have just been like over, move on?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I think that Brandon Staley's on his last thread here with his team. With the way that I've seen in all sports, the way that coaches are just like, they're just placeholders, bro. Like at this point, there's very few of them that have the power in the organization that they need to make like monumental change. Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, Mike Tomlin, all these coaches are legacy type coaches. Brandon Staley is yet to prove himself in that regard.
Yeah.
So I think he's definitely on the chopping block, but he's got fucking studs.
I think
especially
Brandon
when they're
Staley
healthy.
Either sold drugs or has a deep, dark secret over the Spanos family, because I have no other explanation of why he wasn't fired this offseason. Like the Chargers, top to bottom, if we just went over it, have the best, if not the best, one of the top 3 rosters in the sport, right? Derwin James, Joey Bosa, right? Mike Williams. If you just go through their whole roster, it's just stud after stud after stud after stud.
Oh, yeah. They win the dude off.
They win the
dude off. Like,
that's
a dude.
They got some dudes.
That's a dude.
They got dudes. It's been 3 years of him just blowing a rookie quarterback on a great salary and a great team every year. How was he not fired? How?
I think, he's fucking, he's a good salesperson.
He's got it, dude.
He's selling his position.
No, fuck that. He has a deep, dark secret. He has to know something evil that somebody's done, bro. There's no other explanation. Bro.
Oh my goodness. That's interesting for me. 9.5 is so
tough.
That's tough.
Because the Chargers can go 9-8 anytime they want.
Correct. I see you know what? I'm gonna go with NFL.com here. I'm gonna say they're going under.
You have balls.
I'm going to say under. But I'm going to say under in like the most disappointing heart fashion way, because I see them losing some fucking heartbreakers. Like if you literally gave up a 27-point lead in the wild card game of the playoffs, and that's the last taste of football that's in your mouth.
Yeah.
You have to re-earn your soul back, right? They had their fucking soul snatched. They got to beat a team by at least 20, maybe even 30 points to kind of be like, all right, we're back.
Yeah.
This feels good.
Because the very first time that they're up 14-0, in the back of their heads, they're gonna be like, "Well, fuck."
Oh, I don't like this.
We're not even close to being ahead, right? Like that's a ghost in the back of their head. I have to take the over. I have to.
Yeah,
Like,
I see it.
like just looking at their roster, they have the dude off. They have too many. I know I've said this 3 years in a row. The Chargers always embarrass me. They're gonna go 9-4 and then lose 4 straight games to fuck my bet. But I gotta take the over.
Hilarious.
I gotta take the over, man. 10-7. The Chargers can pull it off, even if their coach is a piece of shit.
Yeah, because he's a placeholder. He's a placeholder. And he was way less aggressive this year, which I wasn't a fan of.
And they just drafted another receiver in the first. Bro, if you can't win 10 games with Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and a top, 25 receiver, just fuck off.
I just off the top of my head, I don't even know if he's done it. I would imagine that he has. How many 5,000-yard passing years has Justin Herbert had?
5,000? Oh, God.
He's played 2 seasons. Do you think he's done it?
Yes.
He did it his first year by 14 yards. Still very impressive. His first year was a lot better than his last year.
Yeah.
Which is shocking.
He ended the Tua Herbert argument in like one game, right?
Yes. Tua's got a lot of that's just a bad look, some of the things that happened to him last year. And it's not a bad look like as he played crappy, which sometimes he did. But I mean, we all know. He's just whenever Tua does something bad now, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, his fucking head, bro."
Every time. Every time.
And yeah, so Herbert, I think Herbert didn't have to do anything. Tua kind of just like had a fucking, it sucked.
We thought for 5,000 yards your first year, man. That's just.
All right, next team on the docket here is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Over under 8.5 wins. Is this the first year that a Mike Tomlin team doesn't go 500 and have a winning record? You're shaking your head no.
I can't bet against Mike Tomlin. Like, it's still like, you know how, I know it's the NFL thing, but like in basketball, they have heat culture where it's just like a hard-nosed, this is our culture. I think the Steelers are the NFL's version of that, where they're just so tough. They have such a good culture around them that everybody fits into. That
I love that.
Even if I don't trust anybody on the team, but you still believe them to win 9 games.
Yep. I'm a Tomlin-aholic.
Yeah.
The way that he's able to will some of his players and the way that they talk about him, he like makes them like feel guilty. You know what I mean? But without having to like rip on them. You know what I mean? Like they know, and it's kind of like the cool thing. They know they've had winning records the entire time Tomlin's been the coach. You do not want to be a part of the roster that fucked this man's record, which quite possibly could be untouchable.
Oh, yeah.
Like that is it's a pretty tough record to beat. Najee Harris, I predict this year will have that breakout year that we've been expecting.
Okay.
Good fantasy back to pick up because he catches a lot of passes out of the backfield too. Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett?
Oh, anybody other than Mitch Trubisky is always going to be my answer. You could say Mitch Trubisky, any quarterback in the league.
He's definitely one of the quarterbacks that a lot of people want to like make or want to see him perform well.
Yeah.
Because, he was a player in college where he only played like a college season.
Yeah.
And then he gets blown out of proportion. He's going to be this big stud. The Bears get him.
Over Deshaun Watson, over Patrick Mahomes.
Crazy, dude. Crazy. And now he has shown flashes of greatness with the Steelers and greatness in his regard, not greatness like in like, oh, this dude's fucking setting the world on fire. But you got a lot of studs. Deontay Johnson, year in and year out, has been a fantasy dream
Beast
of a receiver. You got George Pickens, who is Kenny Pickett's fucking #1 target at
He's an animal.
Pittsburgh. Amazing. And now they got Allen Robinson.
He did go, wow.
Yeah. And not only that, at tight end, they got Darnell Washington.
Yeah, and their guy that they had there, the big white guy.
Pat Fryermuth.
Freiermuth
will definitely get the start, but it's like
Darnell's
you
a
also
monster,
got another,
bro.
you could put that big boy out there on the edge to block. This team is also returning, who I think, if he's healthy, will win defensive MVP in TJ Watt.
My man. I fucking love me some TJ Watt, man.
He's what out of all the Watt brothers, is he better than JJ?
Yeah. I think when he retires, he'll go down as better than JJ. I think JJ will have the bigger peak years, because there was years he was just blowing teams up. But I think when all said and done, TJ Watt will be the better player.
Now, you say you can't bet against them, so you're going over 8.5 wins.
Yes.
I'm going to go with you.
Okay.
I'm going to go with you on this.
Okay.
Although the quarterback position is definitely a humongous fucking question mark. I think you'll see both Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky start games this season without a doubt.
Okay.
But I like him. I like him solely for Najee Harris. I really think that this is a year that kid breaks out.
Sure.
Now we move on to the Cleveland Browns, the Deshaun Watson-led Cleveland Browns, over 8.5 wins. Do you think it happens?
No. Division suits. Ravens are going to be better. Steelers, we just said, are going to win 9 games. The Bengals are still around, right? So they're in one of the toughest divisions in the league. Deshaun Watson didn't show me anything last year that made me say, like, oh shit, the Browns are coming, right? He looked like garbage for 5 games in a row.
Agreed.
So what's changed, right? Did a few cases fall off? Like what?
No cases fall off of that. Fucking that dude is, out of all the players in sports history to get paid out a fucking exorbitant amount of money to keep people quiet, like, it's the most obvious.
Yeah.
Like, they literally signed this man for a contract that, like, Lamar Jackson was struggling to sign. Like, Lamar Jackson is light years better than him. Lamar Jackson just wanted the same contract as Deshaun, and the fucking Ravens were like, were you fucking your massage therapist? Like,
yeah. But this is
do
why
you need hush money? Like,
this is the difference between cultures, right? Like, this is why the Browns are the Browns. This is why the Steelers are the Steelers. The Steelers would have never signed Deshaun Watson or given him guaranteed money. The Browns give him the worst contract in, like, NFL history.
Yeah. And now the team is solid.
Sure.
You got Zadarius Smith. I completely forgot about that. So you got, like, coming off of both ends, Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith.
Yep.
The defense looks good. You got Nick Chubb, who that's another. Remember, we were having that little running back discussion earlier. His name gets brought up over Derrick Henry, and it's just
He's good.
I get it, but they're one and the same.
Yeah.
They're one and the same. So
Derrick Henry's just more durable than he is. Derrick Henry doesn't miss games, bro.
Yeah, and if he has the fucking line flowing for him, everything kind of falls into place.
That's the Browns' strength. They have a great offensive line, great defensive line. For some reason, man, that organization can't put it together.
It'll be fun to watch this whole Deshaun Watson thing.
It's so annoying.
It is, but all right, so what does Deshaun Watson have to do for us to forget everything?
No, they're never going to let, so here's the effed up thing, and I'm not going to get your podcast canceled. If Deshaun Watson had, killed a motherfucker or hit somebody drunk driving, by now they would have stopped talking about it. He would have won 7 games, and we'd be like, oh, Deshaun Watson's the greatest thing ever, right? We would have just completely let it go. Ray Lewis fucking killed the guy, and we cheered him in the Super Bowl. Like, come on, man. Like, this isn't the sport for morality. But every Deshaun Watson game, holy fuck, I got to hear 4 white guys in a suit tell me how bad he is. I'm like, dude, all of you guys have some stories in your past.
Some dirt, my man. And I, as much as I want to blame Deshaun Watson, I really blame the Texans organization as a whole. They knew the entire time.
Of course they knew.
They fucking knew.
Of course they knew. It wasn't until he asked for more money that all the stories started coming out. People forget that part.
Yep. Hey, follow the money, baby.
Follow the money.
Your AFC South champions from last year. Oh, hold on. 8.5 wins. Over, under.
For the Browns?
Yeah.
Under. Their culture, their organization, there's zero confidence for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna say under as well.
If we just did dudes, like which roster has the most dudes, they'd be up there with the Chargers. They got plenty of dudes.
Yes.
It's just like, how can you play quarterback with a Bill Cosby accusation over your head, bro? That's a lot.
And you got, Kevin Stefanski, man. He likes to run the ball anyway, so it'll be... I didn't like the way that they used Deshaun and Nick Chubb at the end of last year. Like, that offense is way more dynamic than what Stefanski was drawing up there. I'm going under on 8.5 wins, and I'm moving on now to the AFC South champions, Jacksonville Jaguars. Over, under 10 wins on the year.
Here we go. Our first...
one, for me, I'm just going to start off and say under. That team was a flash in the pan last year.
Yep.
Lots of one-possession wins, and like we talked about, their last taste, right, was that huge comeback that and I forget how crappy they got beat the next week in the playoffs.
Right.
Who did beat them in the playoffs? Was it the Chiefs? You're right. Yeah, they went to Arrowhead and got fucking throttled.
It was what it was. But think about this. We just discussed earlier. The Colts are going to be bad, but they're going to be more competitive than last year with Matt Ryan. The Texans have nowhere to go but up, so they're going to be more competitive. The Titans are always competitive. The Jaguars won the division, which means now they have to play a division-winning schedule. No way they're getting 10 wins. That's a lot of wins.
Yeah. I'm going under sauce on that one, my friend. That's easy for me. Like, to me, that makes sense. You see the double-digit win, you're like, I don't know. No.
I can't. Yeah.
Next team was a wild card team last year, the Miami Dolphins.
Here we go. You know how I feel about my boy Tua, man. You know I'm fins up.
9.5.
Over. Why are the Dolphins not better than last year? Why? In what world are they not better than they were last year?
They added Jalen Ramsey.
Come on. They're all in.
That's a huge acquisition. When you're looking at like which moves this offseason were the most monumental, Jalen Ramsey signing with the Dolphins to me is like, that team's pretty fucking legit now. You're locking up an entire half of the field.
If you're a Dolphins player, you know the organization is willing to spend money to help. They're behind you. Hey, listen. We'll sign Jalen Ramsey. We'll sign Tyreek Hill. We'll pay Tua. We'll sign whoever you guys want. We're here to win. Mm-hmm. And that's, as a player, that's what you want from the organization. That you're going to go out there and bust your ass, but they're going to put the money in to help you. I like the Dolphins, man. I see no reason why they can't win 10 games.
I like it too.
Now there's a big asterisk here, right?
Their coach vapes like me, so I love it. Like
Mike McDaniel for sure vapes. Mike McDaniel for sure has at least 3 TikTok accounts. 100%.
There's an interview that Mike McDaniels was on this offseason, and the podcast host brought it up, and he's like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "Were you vaping on the side?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Huh? What?"
Oh,
he's like, "I may or may not have been addicted to nicotine in years previous." That's literally what he said on the interview. I'm like, this dude's a legend.
I fuck with Mike McDaniels, bro. I really do. I like him it took me a while to warm up to him because he's like not your normal
nerdy.
coach.
You feel the same way about Brandon Staley, but Brandon Staley is not cool. He is so not cool. And you look at Mike McDaniel, he's like, damn, this dude has got swagger.
Brandon Staley feels like a smart guy who wants to show you how smart he is, while Mike McDaniel seems like he's just one of the bros.
Yes. And he would show you how smart he is while being a bro.
No, but seriously, I think the Dolphins have drafted well on defense. I think that's what people aren't talking about. They always talk about Tua on the offense. I think the Dolphins' defense this year is a top 10 defense. And big asterisk, obviously. But if Tua doesn't get hurt, I think the Dolphins are pushing for that division last year.
Yeah.
If Tua doesn't get hurt, we're talking about like maybe the division winning Dolphins.
What was the name of their back? Skylar Thompson.
Skylar fucking Thompson.
Every week I would see, you're just looking out at the quarterback numbers and you're just like, oh, this is not.
Do you know who their backup is this year? Mike White from the Jets.
Okay. Some of those things, right, they make sense because Mike White from the Jets, he comes over to a division rival. You get to know all the secrets, bro. Like, that's a real thing, right? Tell me literally the entire offensive playbook. Mm-hmm. Jalen Ramsey, let's have a fucking dinner.
Yeah.
Let's have steaks over discussing how we're going to fucking throttle the Jets.
I would take Mike White over Kirk Cousins.
Ooh.
Remember the Kirk Cousins game?
I can't wait till we go into the NFC because we are going to go in on this motherfucker.
Bro, seriously, Mike White has to be the best. Him or Jameis have to be the best backup quarterbacks in the league, right?
There's Andy Dalton for Carolina.
Fuck, you got me.
Andy Dalton. That a lot of people aren't like thinking that Andy Dalton should start, and I'm like, are you stupid? You know?
No.
I think you want to win games, and I know we're touching on NFC here, but you want to win games. You play the fucking veterans early, and you let the young ones learn.
Yeah.
And it's the way it's got to go. But they're going to fucking put Bryce Young in there.
They need to sell jerseys, bro. They need to sell jerseys.
100%. Yep. Okay, so the next team that we're going to go over.
Wait, were you over on the Dolphins?
I am. Yeah.
There we go.
I'm with you on that, bro. We got the New York Jets at 9.5 wins.
This is basically a bet on Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah.
Because we all like their defense.
Yeah.
Their running back that they drafted, who tore his ACL. Oh, what was the kid from Iowa State? Breece Hall. We love him. We love their receivers, right? Their offensive line is trash. This is an Aaron Rodgers bet. What are you thinking? 9.5.
9.5. I'm going a fat fucking under. I don't think if Aaron Rodgers did it last year with the Packers and how mediocre that year was with the pieces he was given, you get Alan Lazard, bro. Now, I just saw this. They do have Mecole Hardman and Garrett Wilson. You got young kids, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. There's been so much talk about how starstruck the entire locker room is, and they are, without a doubt, stroking the fuck out of Aaron Rodgers' ego right now.
Yeah.
Like
God.
Aaron Rodgers, he is the greatest quarterback of all time. We just can't believe that we're like in the presence of this dude's greatness.
Bro,
and I'm like,
Coach is already slobbering.
He's good, but what have you done for me lately?
The fuck? Yeah, what has Aaron Rodgers done for the past 2 years that makes people think that he's the Aaron Rodgers from, the Super Bowl? I don't get it.
Hey, listen, I'm a huge fan of winning Super Bowls, all right? Not just winning MVP awards. That definitely should not have gone to him some of those years. That fucking award is so slanted towards quarterbacks every year. Because definitely there was a couple of those years where he did not deserve it. I'm choosing the under 9.5 wins. And to me, this is one that's easy. I'm not like stressing about this one.
Nope.
I do think they could make the playoffs. To make the playoffs, they're at -150, but that's a wild card spot. I don't see them winning the division.
Yeah.
They are not the best team in that division.
If it was a flat 9, I think I would risk the push. But you're telling me the fucking Jets, have to win 10 games in a division with the Bills, the Patriots, and the Dolphins?
It's going to be it's one of those things where it's like, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be very ugly, and I'm personally going to be an Aaron Rodgers hater this year. Like, I am.
Take up the mantle, baby.
I am. And I like him. Like, I really do. His whole personality, his vibe, his aura. But this year, I'm going to be like, fuck the Jets. I'm on the fuck the Jets train. Baltimore Ravens.
Let's go.
Next team, 9.5 wins. They signed him. They finally signed Lamar. About fucking time. But I think he's got the biggest goddamn headache at wide receiver.
Yeah.
This man, Odell, his father made a highlight tape of all the bad throws that Baker Mayfield had for the Browns. What's going to happen when Lamar, a not-so-accurate quarterback, is doing the same exact thing?
He can't. He knows he has to keep his mouth shut now.
He better.
He better, yeah, because now he's going to be seen as a cancer.
My favorite clip that I've made in this offseason is like the shot of Lamar and OBJ at the club, and Lamar just looks like he does not want to be there. Like, OBJ's like fucking feeling himself. They brought out the bottle girls.
And Lamar's
like
it's like Derrick Rose. He has none of that fun in him, man.
He's very business. I love him. I think that this year for him, he's like one of those guys where it's like, okay, I got paid. I'm about to win another MVP award for y'all this season.
Yeah.
I like over 9.5 wins because
Me too.
it's the coach with the signed QB. I'm liking the vibe. I'm going over.
They were going to, I mean, think about this. These guys could have won playoff games, multiple playoff games, if not for a fluke fumble, right? Like, even without Lamar, that team is so talented and well coached behind him that they were willing to almost win a playoff game. With Lamar, how can they not win 10 games? I don't get it.
This is where it gets interesting, right? Because we're now headed at the top of the division, right? And we have what would be considered the division winners, all right? So I'm going to list off these next 3 teams, all right? And I'm just going to set a base over-under for them because we got to wrap this up here. But I'm going to set a base over-under of 11.5 wins.
Okay.
Let's start with the Bills. They have them down for 10.5, but if I'm gonna put them in the same fucking category as the Bengals and the Chiefs.
Yeah, same 3 teams. Yeah, that's
so. And I know it's a game difference, but you got the Bills, you got the Bengals, you got the Chiefs. Let's start with the Bills. Do you think the Bills could win over 11.5 games?
No.
Do you think the same thing I think as far as Josh Allen's a wild stallion?
He's wild stallion. There's some games they'll win by 28, and there's some games they're going to lose by a touchdown because he's still Josh Allen.
He is a quarterback that he's trying to find that perfect mold between hybrid runner and elite pocket passer. I think what this dude's got is like a Brett Favre syndrome, right?
Yeah.
He just likes to sling it deep.
Yeah.
And there's this like process that all quarterbacks have to learn where it's like, we're not going deep every play. Take the 5 yards and let's just get things moving.
Yeah.
When we win games, when we blow people out, it's not because it's big play, big play. It's we're fucking throttling a team with short routes.
Yeah. And I think on top of Josh Allen, their defense has just gotten older, right? They've had tons of players hurt, injured, and I think the Bills' best chance to be that kind of team was 2 years ago when they lost to the Chiefs. Ever since then, I think they've just gotten a little bit worse each year.
I agree.
So telling me they're going to win 12 games, that's a lot, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And I myself think that is an unreachable goal. I myself am going to go under on that one.
Yeah.
But I do like to think that this year, that's the best receiver quarterback duo between Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen.
I can see that.
I'm a huge fan of seeing year 3 of this project now.
Yeah.
So let's move on now to the Bengals. Over under 11.5 wins.
Under.
Joe Shiesty, what?
I love Joe Shiesty. I think he's the one. I love me some Joe Shiesty. I just can't see it. I can't see it.
So do you think the Ravens will win more games than the Bengals this year?
I think the Ravens win that division. I think the Ravens win that division. I really do.
And I know I was bold saying that was the best quarterback receiver duo, but when you got Joe Shiesty and Jamar Chase. Now, Jamar was a little banged up last year, but he came back when it mattered most.
Yep.
Which is like, thank God.
Carried fantasy teams to championships, boy.
Literally.
That motherfucker is the truth.
This team's got now a record of success. And for a while there, the Bengals, like in the early 2000s, even at the beginning of the 2010s, everyone was like, the Bengals, that's an easy win on the schedule. Mark them as
Yeah, you were all, even when they had Carson Palmer, they were good, but you never were like, oh, this is a title-winning team, right?
No.
It's the Bengals.
No. But now they should be taken seriously. I think that will probably be one of my favorite games to watch this year. Bengals-Ravens. Get to see them twice. It's going to be fucking glued to the TV type watching right there.
Yeah.
I am going to take under because I think the Ravens will have a better record.
Yep.
With that being said,
Damn, I thought we were going to fight on that.
I think the Ravens will probably win 12 games.
Dude.
I see it happening.
I came in here ready to like scrap with you. I thought we were going to like fucking first take it up. And we've been in agreement on all my big hitters, man. I totally think the Ravens are winning that division.
It's because we don't like the easy, I think, Brandon.
Yeah.
We don't like the easy answer, like seeing the record of success and what they got coming back, but we like to be hopeful. We like to fucking look into our crystal ball of the future.
No, it's because we're real NFL people. We know that every year There's good teams that drop down, and there's other teams that rise up, right? There's only one exception. I think you're coming up on it.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Over.
11.5 wins.
Over.
I'm going under on this one, and let me tell you why.
Oh.
And let me tell you why, my friend. They don't need to be good in the regular season. They just got to make it to the fucking dance.
Okay.
It's very taxing on a team to play that late in the season, year in, year out, year in, year out. The only other comparison I have to this is the Patriots. Okay? The first 6 games don't really fucking matter. All right? We start OTAs a little bit late. Everybody's, enjoying their Super Bowl hangover. There is a portion of the season, and I know this sounds crazy, that the Chiefs are complacent with. And we saw it last year. There was talks last year, right? When the Chargers started off super hot and the Chiefs weren't playing that good, that is this the end of the dynasty? But what the Chiefs have done is they've NBA-ified themselves, right? They said, it doesn't matter if we're the fucking 8th seed Miami Heat. We could still make it to the finals. That is why I'm taking the under on this. And I know, right, it sounds nuts. I do see them winning 10 to 11 games. But it's 11.5. I don't see them winning more than this. I really think the Ravens are the winningest team in that division then.
In the conference. Okay.
Correct.
It's crazy. I agree with almost everything you said. Like, I get you. They don't have to win. They're not chasing that 1 seed. They can win on the road, right? But you mentioned a team, the Patriots with Brady and Belichick, right? What can you do when the coach and the quarterback are so much more... Like, Andy Reid's not just the best offensive coordinator coach. He's, so far ahead of everyone else. Mm-hmm. And Mahomes isn't just the best quarterback. He's so much more talented. What can you do when your coach and your quarterback are so much better than everybody else that even in their off games, they can still put up 31 points on you?
They could still score in 15 seconds, right?
Like legitimately. We saw last year, Patrick Mahomes was like, is this Patrick Mahomes' worst year ever? The dude probably still threw 40 touchdowns and less than 15 picks, and we're tripping out. Like, a bad season for Patrick Mahomes is still the best season in the NFL.
100%. 100%. I don't disagree with you on that. I just think it's not just him when it comes to the Super Bowl hangover, bro. You got 51 other people on that roster.
Partying.
Not only partying, but it's tough. They play late into the season, and I think once you go late into the season, you realize how healthy you need to be at the end. A lot of teams, 98% of teams cannot afford to do that.
True.
To say, we can pull the reins back in certain points in time.
True.
This team can. Even if they pull it back, I still see them fucking being Super Bowl contenders.
Just not 12 wins.
I'm just not seeing them setting the world on fire in the regular season. And that's that.
That's your spiciest take. That's the one that we're going to... When the Chiefs are 10-1, that's the one that they're going to pull up on TikTok like, oh, this fucker George.
This dude's a fucking idiot. Brandon, it's been a pleasure covering these AFC win totals with you. We're going to do NFC soon.
I'm so hyped for NFC.
Where can people find you at, partner?
Oh, Brandon from Vegas, all platforms. You guys already know, man. The one and only. Thank you for having me, bro. This is my favorite podcast. I'm not just saying that because you're here being handsome and shit. I mean, this is legitimately my favorite podcast. I listen to this podcast. Your off-season content is fucking ridiculously good. You're carrying my off-season. ESPN's talking about Dak Prescott, and you're over here not doing that. I respect that.
So tune in next week for Dak Prescott's breakdown.
Is his contract worth it for the Cowboys?
Is he a bust? That being said, Nick, take us into the interview that I'm about to have with pro football player Sean Merriman.